Alright, what's up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. We're back with a replay. We're playing Memnarch, and we are playing against Wrexial. So why am I playing Memnarch, and why am I playing a replay? Well, usually I play this game late at night, trying to relax, so just kind of screwing around, seeing what's good, seeing what's not, and sometimes you get some good games in the meantime. I mean, I wish I was recording them live, but I wasn't. But I wanted to revisit Memnarch and see if he's still, if he's still viable, if he's still good. I mean, he's always going to be viable. He's mono blue and he's an artifact. But I just got tired of what I was playing, so I decided to try Memnarch out again. This is a pretty good game, so that's why I recorded it, as I thought it was. And this will actually, since it's not live, it'll give me a moment to talk about my birthday trip that was almost a month ago now. But I'll just start it off real quick. Give you the gist of it. So basically, I went to Las Vegas, if you didn't know, for my birthday. I took 2 days off work, 2 days off school, which is a really big pain in the butt. Flew on a Thursday for my ex-girlfriend, who lives there now, invited me to go out there. And, she asked me back in January, oh, Katy Perry's coming to Vegas, and it's right the day before your birthday, you should come. So she, as a birthday present, bought the tickets. I ended up buying it. It's kind of like a impulse thing, but I was like, you know what, I love Katy Perry, I'll go out and do that. So she paid for the show tickets, which were like $160 a piece or something crazy like that. And then I bought my ticket there, so which wasn't cheap either. Plus the time off work and school is, a real cost. So, I get there on a Thursday. She tells me the concert's on a Saturday, so that's the day before my birthday. And guess what? So, I'm like, she was being kind of not a great host, I would say, hostess. I won't go into details, but she wasn't the greatest hostess. And she went, I was like, do you have the tickets? Everything's all set. She's like, yeah, I should print them off Ticketmaster or whatever. But okay. I was trying to be patient, guest. So she goes print tickets on Saturday. Little does she know that the concert was actually Friday. So basically flew to Vegas. Didn't have a great time because, she's a local now, so she's not, really out into, the Vegas stuff, and just overall it was kind of a lousy trip, so I was pretty upset at that. I flew all the way to Vegas and didn't get to see Katie, and, yeah, that kind of sucked. So that's what happened, that's just the gist of it, and then I spent my birthday in an airport, and then flying. And then my flight was delayed. My flight was, oh my god, the whole trip was screwed up from the beginning. My first flight, actually, I'll tell you the story. So I get to my airport, I'm actually running late because I had to wake up like 4 in the morning. I woke up at 4 in the morning and I was almost late for my airplane. That's how early the flight was. So I had a late check-in, which was like, oh great. So all these buzzers go off when you check in late, so that the attendants can know and help you get there faster. And then I get to my flight, and then the flight isn't up like an hour. I get on the airplane, and Southwest has this way where you don't actually have a seat assigned. You just randomly pick a seat based on when you get on the plane. So I get on towards the end, so I have to sit in the middle of these two people. The guy to the left of me is this business dude, and he's got both of his elbows out as far as he could possibly go while he's typing on his iPad, right? I'm in the middle, scrunching my shoulders together, trying not to touch someone constantly. And then we sit on the plane for half an hour, we're not leaving yet, and then they're like, oh, well, there's a problem with the plane, you have to get off, deboard the plane, we don't know how long it's going to take. I'm like, oh, this is great. So they said, go to the desk and see if you have connection, if they can, put you on a different plane. I was like, okay, so I go to the desk, they put me on a new plane. I was like, well, it's leaving soon, it's boarding now, it's going to Atlanta, then Atlanta to Vegas, and I only got there an hour later, I was like, that's fine, it's no big deal. So I go over to the new gate with my new ticket, and she's like, why did she put you on this airplane? We don't have any room. Why would she do that? I'm like, I don't know. Why would I know why? That, I don't have access to your records and everything. So she's like, no, go back. And then, in the meantime, since this took a while, my original plane was fine. They fixed the problem. I think it was some glitch with they had to restart the avionics and everything. So she prints me a new ticket. Two new, because I took my original boarding passes with my connecting flight. Because they connected in, what was it, Chicago? No, wait. I think so. I don't even remember at this point, but I think in Chicago, I think. And then, so she prints out completely 2 new boarding passes for this flight and the next flight. So I get on the next plane, Alright, I actually got on a little bit earlier, so I actually got a really great seat. I was in the aisle and no one sat in between us, so that was awesome. Anyway, so we land in Chicago, and then I look at my boarding time, because originally I had like an hour or 2 hours, hour and a half in between. And I check the time because the phone has to update your time, because in your time zone. And I look, and my next flight leaves in like 15 minutes. Like, that's when it's leaving. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, how did this happen? Did I time travel? Like, no idea what happened. So, not only was the flight late, but then, I thought it was because the flight was like an hour delayed, but no. Okay, so I have to sprint 2 terminals over, and of course my gate is at the end of the next terminal, so that's always the case. People don't get out of the way. I mean, they see you running in the airport, and they don't like get out of your way. You can't use the moving walkways because people just stand in the middle, and you can't. So I'm basically sprinting with all my stuff all the way across the airport. I get to my gate just in time. I'm sweating, which is not really what I want to be doing on an airplane. So I get on to my next flight, and then I'm like, cool. So I get on my next flight, fly to Vegas, text my ex-girlfriend, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here in Vegas. She's like, what? You weren't supposed to be here for like another hour and a half. I was like, what are you talking about? Did I time travel? Like, I thought I time traveled. I didn't understand what's going on. She's like, yeah, you were supposed to land at, I don't even know what time it was. So I look, and I think about it. I'm like, holy crap. When the second, like, lady printed my tickets, she printed me onto a connecting flight that left an hour earlier. So not only was my plane delayed by an hour, but she gave me an hour earlier connection. So that was really stupid on her part, because why would you do that? She was just in a hurry and didn't think about it. So I almost missed the flight because of that, and I got through all that stress and turmoil. And then they didn't have my baggage because my baggage was on my original connecting flight, so I had to sit there and wait for my baggage anyway. So not the best trip, and then my flight leaving Vegas was delayed by an hour and a half. So I didn't get home in time for my birthday. Originally I was supposed to land around 10 o'clock. I would have been home in time, but I didn't get home until after midnight. So anyway, that's the story. Sorry about that. People wanted to know. That's the gist of it. But I mean, there were some good moments of the trip, but overall, it kind of sucked. So playing Memnarch against Wrexial, he has Island Walk, so obviously that's going to be a problem if you ever cast Wrexial. And blue-black tends to have counters and removal spells, so it could be tough for me to even cast this or cast anything meaningful. Let's go ahead with the game. So his hand's pretty reasonable. It has a Mind Stone, 3 lands, and we're going to keep. So we play Mind Stone. And here I don't know how to use this replay system. Here I Phyrexian Metamorph with the Mind Stone. I mean, I would like to wait and then Metamorph with Lotus, but I just want to make sure I can cast this. I don't want to take a turn wasting it. I want to be able to get Gilded Lotus out fast because I really need. This deck needs a lot of mana, so that's why we make a lackluster play of the Mind Stone. And then he plays Oblivion Stone, and I really hate this card. I don't know why. It's one of the most cards I hate more than anything. I mean, it's obviously a very good card, and people play it. I just hate this card. I just hate what it does. It locks you out from playing anything if you can't deal with it. But we have Tamiya, so I'll have to delay casting my Gilded Lotus for a turn. And I'm just going to start locking down his. I'm going to get Tamiya out right away, and then if he gets the mana, I'm just going to lock down his Oblivion Stone, basically. So first we're going to lock him out of a mana, because that's pretty much better than tapping the Oblivion Stone, because this doesn't do anything yet, but this holds him off of mana, stops him from charging it or sacrificing it, and stops his other plays as well. So he has some ramp now, so now I have to be a little bit worried about what he's doing, because he could get to 5 mana pretty easily if he had a Soul Ring or something. So still going to lock down his blue-black land, play our Lotus, and pass the turn. Alright. So what does he do on his turn? He then Metamorphs. I think he waited for a while on what he wanted to Metamorph. We ended up Metamorphing my Lotus, which was annoying because now he has a ton of mana. So now we're in trouble because he almost had enough to just blow up everything, which would have basically blown me out. I would have been left with just 3 lands, and he would have had 4 lands, and I had nothing else going on, so that would have been really bad. So then we draw the most amazing top deck we probably could have drawn here in Karn, because we have no way to really deal with Oblivion Stone other than stealing it, which I probably wasn't going to be able to do this game, just because there wasn't enough mana to do. So we Karn away the Oblivion Stone. I just want it off the board. I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want him to twiddle and tap it and blow everything up. And we locked down his Lotus. So that was actually a really awesome turn. I usually get unlucky, but that was just a crazy top deck. It's like they knew what I wanted, and I got it. So draw Spin into Myth, which I never really cast all that often, but we eat his hand a little bit, and he gets rid of a Go for Throw, which is probably a smart choice on his part, considering I have an artifact general, and I've shown him a lot of artifacts. It's kind of funny that that's what he exiled. So I don't want to run out my commander here, because he's holding up mana, so it looks like he could have a Hinder, and it could just die to Doomblade or something crazy. I'd rather not just tap out for that. I'd rather start to get this thing going. The thing with control decks, if you have Mind Stone going, like not only that, you get advantage every turn, but like they either have to deal with Mind Stone, and then if they cast their own draw effects, you can tap more mana. If they draw like a Divination, you can just draw 3 cards for their turn. And if you have that Mind Stone going, you pretty much can't lose against a control deck, because you just have insurmountable advantage, and there's no reason to just play Memnarch and just lose it right away and lose the whole turn. Instead, we'll start the train. And he plays Consecrated Sphinx, which is... I'm like, oh crap, but I have a removal spell with Duplicate, and I have Spin into Myth. And the nice thing about Spin into Myth is an instant, obviously, and I can just do that before I draw my first card, so he's not going to get any value off that Consecrated Sphinx. So here, I'm going to upkeep, Spin into Myth the Consecrated Sphinx, put it on the bottom, and then I end up putting this Dread Trip Reef on the bottom by accident. I should have left it on top, but I went to click it, like right click it, and I think it automatically, I don't know, I didn't right click it. I must have just, I forgot how this card works. It's a little bit different than some of the other effects like that, but I ended up clicking it, so I put a Dread Trip Reef on the bottom, which he should have drawn for the turn, which would have been nice. But messed up there. So here I had the option of ultimating Tamiyo, and I probably could not lose if I just done that. But I really like the idea of tapping down his Gilded Lotus, and I really like the idea of having Tamiyo in play after I ultimate, so I can tap down his Wrexial, so he can't, hit me for value. So we go +1 Tamiyo one more time. It might have been smart to just eat a land here. I think if I did, he probably would have just instantly conceded. Sometimes I do stupid things, like I just play to not drag the game out, but I want to play the game, right? But I don't want my opponent to just concede to, like, whatever I do instantly, because that's not always that fun. So I probably could have eaten a land, he would have conceded. But we eat his hand, he gets an Evil Twin out of there, which is probably a good thing that he doesn't have anymore. So now we're going to play Solemn, because we're lacking on the islands, and we're going to need islands for our commander. So we're going to draw that. Keep his Lotus tapped down, and we don't get to draw with Mind's Eye, but that's fine. So he plays a land. And what does he draw? Cyclonic Rift. Oh, this card can be such a blowout sometimes. So now I have a lot of cards in my hand, and I don't have a ton of mana to cast them all. So, yeah, that Tamiyo at 9 is now a Tamiyo at 4. Not even a Tamiyo, because I don't have the ability to cast it. So we're just trying to dump our hand so we don't discard too much. Play Karn again, because Karn's pretty unbeatable. Get rid of the Lotus, because I just don't want him having that much mana. So Wrexial comes down, which is okay with me, because now I have Tamiyo. I'm going to draw a Consecrated Sphinx even. So eat another one of his cards, and he kills a Damnation. So he got a lot of removal. I think not casting Memnarch was probably correct, for sure. We're going to Gilded Lotus, which he doesn't counter. He's going to Force of Will, and then tap down his Wrexial. So now we're in pretty good control here. We haven't been able to use our commander. Ooh, we can even steal that. It's an artifact. But I've been trying to play safe. I mean, the Oblivion Stone was definitely a big speed bump. Another artifact. We eat his hand again. I'm a little bit afraid of like a Confiscate ability, because he seemed to have some copying effects, and maybe he's got like a copy steal deck. So you always gotta be careful with Planeswalkers against blues. They can have Confiscate or like take possession and then just take your ultimate away, which would be very, very bad. So that is one thing to consider when you play these games. And just with red, they can do like Ward of Seizing and Zealous Conscripts as well. Tapping on his guy, I'm fine with him hitting one of my guys. Baleful Strix is only a 1/1. Draw another card, draw Jace, and I think Jace will just pretty much never let me lose now, unless he has something miraculous, like a Karn of his own or another Oblivion Stone effect. Play a Shieldred, which is actually great for me because now I can copy a Shieldred and duplicate it away, or just bounce it with Jace. But I think I'm just going to do... Or I can even Karn it away. I have so many options to deal with Shieldred, it's not even funny. So we sacrifice our Psalm for this Shieldred's trigger, which is not too bad. Draw an island, which is nice. Keeping this Mana Vault tapped down because I just don't have... I need my mana, I just don't need to bank it right now. The 1 damage is not a factor. So he exiles this. Untap target creature you don't control. Gain control of it. It gains haste. So he's got some kind of Word of Seizing thing. Interesting though. He's got a lot of like steal and copy effects, so it's probably the focus of his deck, I would think. Or maybe a sub theme, who knows. So we copy Shoulder with our own. We've drawn a lot of the same card, which is funny. He's had a Consecrate Sphinx, I have one now. We duplicate the Shieldred, and then he concedes. Because I'm pretty much, he can't. I mean, I could just Ultimate Karn, not that it would really do much. But, you know, we're going to win this game. Eventually we'll just have Jace. Tamiel's going to go Ultimate. Karn can just eat everything he has. And yeah, that was a pretty good game. This is a pretty long video, actually. But this is the deck, in case you guys wanted to see it. I haven't really touched it at all, probably since I played it not on stream, but on YouTube. There might be some cards I could add to it. This is kind of the idea of the deck. It's very artifact-centric, but then it's got a lot of cool blue cards. I don't think it has too many counter spells. I have, let's see, Pact of Negation. And the reason I run Pact, I only run Pact in certain blue decks is because when you have an expensive commander, or a commander that's very like Tron, like you want to bash them down with, you really want Pact just so you can keep your guy on the battlefield. Because it sucks to play Memnarch for 7 mana and then tap out and then just have it Doombladed and basically get time walked. So that's why I have Pact. Pact, you know, it has a real cost, obviously, so you can't just throw it into anything. I think a lot of people do play Pact if they can, so I don't like to play it in most decks. I think I run it in Daxos as well because, you know, you're trying to attack them and you get value off Daxos. Alright, so we have Counterspell, Mana Drain, and we have Hinder. I might have taken Spell Crumple out. I mean, they're both good effects. The thing about Hinder, I probably used to have Snapcaster Mage, and that's why I have Hinder instead of Spell Crumple. So I probably should have replaced this with a Spell Crumple, because Spell Crumple you can always draw again. And then Dismiss, and I think I have Cryptic, and then I have Force of Will. It's not too many counter spells. I know a lot of people like to overload. You'll get like Mana Lakes, Negates, Spell Pierces and stuff. I try to avoid those situational counter spells if I can. But that's the gist of the deck. And I like this. It's pretty fun. I could probably cut some of the expensive cards like Arcanus and Sphinx of Uthun. Put in some cheaper cards. You could probably put in more counter spells and they would probably be better, but that's the deck. Thanks for listening to my story. Sorry it was a long one, but let me know if you guys think I could add some cards for this. If you had this deck list, what would you add or subtract? If you suggest an add, you obviously have to suggest something that you would cut. So, hope you guys have a great Wednesday, and see you next time.